Hey guys, it's Keith again with Bulletproof RC. And I'm back with you again to share an update on the Losi 10 SCBE buggy. I've had this vehicle for about 2 months now, and I've had a great deal of fun with it. I put around 15 packs, mostly 2S, through it, and I can say that this thing has surpassed most of my expectations. Now, I had pretty high expectations because I have owned both the Losi SCTE 1.0 and the TLR SCTE 2.0, and both vehicles were great. They both excelled on both the racetrack and in the bash environment. In fact, I still believe the SCTE 2.0 is one of the best SCT 4x4 platforms that is available today. Now, I've done a number of things to this vehicle. It didn't need it, in my opinion. I've only put 2 packs through this thing in its stock format, but owning both the SCTE 1.0 and 2.0 versions of this vehicle, I can say that I have tested this platform enough to know that it doesn't need a lot of upgrades. The only 2 upgrades that I would have recommended for this vehicle would have been the turnbuckle upgrade that I've done. If you're unsure of what I'm talking about, check my video series on this vehicle. And then the other thing would be the shocks, just simply because out of the box this vehicle comes with plastic bodied shocks, and over the long haul, anodized aluminum shocks are just a must for a vehicle, in my opinion. Recently I have done an upgrade to this vehicle I want to share with you, and that is I've upgraded my motor. Now this vehicle comes stock with a Fuse 3800 kV 550 3660 can motor, and I don't know if it's because of the polished aluminum finish that's on it or what. No matter how I geared this motor and no matter what battery I used, it was hot. I geared this thing down to 12 tooth pinion, and the buggy was a lot slower on 12 tooth with 2S, and the motor was still hot. And I put the stock gearing back in it and ran it on 2S. I like the speed and performance this motor puts out, but I just don't like that heat. I put motor fans on it, different ones, and just tried everything I could to cool it down, but no matter what I've done, this motor is hot. It's the same motor that comes in the Losi Baja Ray, and the Baja Ray has the same affliction. This motor gets hot. Now, haven't heard of this motor failing in any vehicle, either the Baja Ray or the 10 SCBE. So maybe the heat isn't a problem with this motor. Maybe that it's capable of withstanding high temperatures. I just don't understand. Out of all the RCs I've owned, I've never had a motor that I couldn't gear to cool it down, or at least put a cooling fan on or something. But anyway, I opted to use a Fuse 2500 3660, and currently I'm using stock gearing, which is the center diff has a 40 tooth spur, and this is the stock 16 tooth pinion that comes on the vehicle. And I'm using a HRB 3S 11.1 volt, I believe it's a 40C, I think it's a 40C rated battery, 5200 milliamp. And I can say that this combination is where it needs to be. I'm getting somewhere between probably 40-45 miles per hour out of the vehicle, and I've got the torque now that I was going for. The 3800 that this had in it on 2S was in the same speed range, but just didn't have enough oomph for me. I didn't like the 2S torque rating. So when I put 3S in it, even when I geared it down, it was just a little bit too out of control. But with the 2500 kV motor, the speed is right, the torque is right. It just feels like the best thing I compare it to is an 8-scale buggy on 4S. If you've seen 8-scale buggies on 4S, they're usually running a 2000 kV motor, and they have insane torque, but they're controllable that way. And that's what this reminds me of. So I just want to throw that out there and let you guys know that there is an option. Now, you don't have to go with the Fuse. I'm sure there's other 2500 kV motors in the 550 range you could choose from. But so far, this is a great choice. One of my other buddies on YouTube, Chuco Town RC, he chose the same motor in his SCBE, and he's had great success as well. So just thought I would throw that out there. But if you're on the fence about this buggy, I would say get off the fence, because I think it's a great platform. There's not a lot of options out there if you want a buggy like this, because the Axial Exo has been retired. And then you have the Thunder Tiger Bushmaster, which I was on the fence about purchasing for a while. And I'm sure it's a great buggy, but the lack of part support that we have here in the United States from Thunder Tiger, that's the only reason I didn't purchase that. Plus, Thunder Tiger has notoriously in the past discontinued models, and it gets increasingly harder to find parts. With a platform that has gone back as far as the 10T from 10 years ago, I mean, these are some of these A-arms and shock towers, different things on this car. You can order 10T parts, they're interchangeable. So one thing about Losi is part support's definitely not a problem. So if you want a buggy like this that's got scale realism and performance, then this is your best bet. If you want it to perform like an 8-scale buggy, then I've just shown you how to do that. On 3S with a 2500 kV motor, it's very comparable to a 8-scale buggy on 4S with a 2000 kV motor. But anyway, that's my thoughts on that. And anyway, that'll do it for this video, guys. And like always, like and subscribe for the shoe fits, and have yourself a great day.